What's up, Instagram? It's good to see you. Welcome to the Weekly Rock, where we go live every Friday at noon to talk about some level of clarity, where we are, what that means, why that matters, and what we want to do with that. And so we'll give a couple seconds for some folks to join. If you guys are catching this on our IGTV or you're catching us on the replay, then we are so grateful that you will watch that with us there. Make sure and share, comment, like if you want to, if you're watching this on the replay. We so appreciate your time, effort, and energy with us in that. So as we get started today, we've done this for the last 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, but really in the last couple weeks, we said we were going to start a 4-part series. Where last week we said was part 1 of 4 as we look at July 1st being the new January 1st, right? We said like new year, new us. And so last week what we talked about was rhythms and routines. And so if you missed that one, you didn't catch that one, we would love for you to hop over when we're done here on IGTV and would love for you to catch that for us there. What's up, Barry? What's up, Megan? Hey, Carl. Hey, Tammy. Would love for you to catch that there. It's 15, 20 minutes. Basically, we roughly talk about rhythms and routines, and really in that talking about rhythms being the cadence in which we flow, and then routines being kind of the big structured time, what we do with that, and how we use that in a way that makes our time useful and valuable. So this week, in part 2 of our series, this week we're talking about intentions and directions. And so if rhythms and routines are really what we want to talk about in week 1, then what we want to talk about here is we want to talk about intention and direction, okay? And the reason we use those 2 words specifically, and the reason we're not talking about goals or something like that, is I'm not a huge fan of the word goals. I think goals are great, but I think for a lot of us, we have a skewed view of what that is and how we want to use that and how that operates best for us, because we set goals that tend to be either out of our alignment with our value, or they end up being out of alignment with what we really want to accomplish or the thing we think we're supposed to do. And then whenever we do that, what happens is then we don't accomplish it and we decide we don't like goals. So we're going to talk about intentions and directions. And so let's start with intentions. And here's what I mean by intentions. To me, our intentions are where hope and desire meet, okay? Where we have hope and we have a desire, and those 2 things collide. For me, that's how we create intention, okay? And hope is the external part, right? Hope is the thing out there we go, man, I really hope that happens. But desire is the internal part. Desire, I think, is the fuel or the catalyst that's going to allow us to get to a place to begin to move in the way and the direction that we want. And so when we have the ability to align hope and desire, the external and the internal factors of who we are together, I think that's where we begin to set a good intention. And by good, it's not a value proposition. It's not good or bad. I'm saying good meaning aligned, a true, that's a better word, a true intention with where we are, who we are, how we want to use our time, what we want to do, and then how we want to move forward in that. You with me? And so the way I want us to think about this today as we go through intentions and directions is we're going to identify both of those in our life. We're going to identify an intention that we have. We're going to set an intention based on our hopes and desires, and what does that look like? And so it may be a word or a phrase, or it may simply just be a thought that we have, an intention we're going to set where our hope and desire meets. And then we're able to set our intention knowing, okay, this is really the fuel, the catalyst behind it. Then what direction do we want to go? And again, we use the word directions in the same way, hey Ashley, in the same way that we talk about rhythms and routines, because I want us to be able to know that if that's the direction we want, that direction has to be fueled by our intention, by our hope and desire. And we have the ability to identify that, then I think what happens is it allows us to have a consistent direction where we're headed at the same time and not just a singular place that we want to go. I think most of us are more apt to be much more successful when we give ourselves the opportunity to say that over there, that's the way that I want to go, as opposed to going, do you see this singular point? I hope I can land in this singular point. Okay? So if that, you can. I always forget how Instagram works. So you can like or something where a little circle pops up. All I know is the circle pops up on one side. So if you're with me and you're following me and you're on board, hit whatever button it is that something pops up so that I know that I know that you're with me and we're following along, so we can begin to put these pieces together, okay? So, again, we said part 1 was rhythms and routines. Part 2 is going to be our intention and direction. So, here's what I want. I think a lot of us, myself included, okay, there's a little thing. I appreciate that. Thanks, friends. I think for a lot of us, intentions are hard. I think for a lot of us, intentions are difficult. I think we have a hard time because, and we actually did a clip of this last week. I think on Instagram. And I actually think it was either from the Weekly Rock or it was from something else. I don't exactly remember, but like the idea of being selfish, the idea of selfish versus selfless, and kind of how those 2 definitions get skewed, I think sometimes. But I think a lot of us have a hard time with intention, with hope, and with desire, because I think we've been conditioned to believe that if we want something too much, then it makes us selfish. If we really have drive and we really want to accomplish something, well, but if that for you, and if it's just for you, like, should you really do that? And I think so. As we build our intention today, moving forward, I want us to put down the idea. Right? I want us to put down this idea that, like, by me really wanting something, hoping for something, or desiring for something makes us selfish. And as long as your hope and desire is not oppressive to someone, or is not perpetuating a system that has been oppressive to someone, then I think let's get rid of the idea that our intentions are selfish. Okay, let's give ourselves enough grace today. Let's look at what is, and let's say, what do we want to do with that moving forward? And so as you think about your intentions, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about both external being hope and internal being desire. What do you hope is the fuel? Or what is the fuel of your hope and desire? What is the fuel? What is the intention you want to set for yourself in every aspect, in every avenue of life of who you are? What is the intention that you want to set for you? Knowing that we're going to establish a rhythm, knowing that we're going to establish our routines. Inside of both of those, what is kind of the intention? What is the writing on the wall, if you will, that's going to allow us to kind of keep ourselves seen and known and moving in that direction? Okay? So here's the exercise. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to finish these two statements for yourself. We're going to combine these. We're going to smash them together, and I think we're going to end up with our intention on the other side. So statement number one is this. When you think about yourself, when you think about what it is that you want, I'm not talking about goals or anything. I'm talking about you as a human. When I say, man, when I look at myself and I go, Rocky, I really hope that you are, and I'm talking to myself, which I know is a little weird, but stay with me. When I say, Rocky, I really hope that you are, how would I finish that statement? And so what I want for you to do is I want you to do the same thing. I want you to write it down, okay? How would you answer that statement for yourself, right? When Tammy talks to herself, she says, Tammy, I really hope I am. Megan, I really hope I am. Right? Ashley, I really hope I am. Anne, I really hope I am. Annie, I really hope I am. Zach, I really hope I am. How do you finish that? How do you finish those statements? Because I think it's really important. That's how we're going to have and give ourselves the ability to begin to build some intention that's got to be based off the way that we know, see, and we view ourselves. So finish that statement for me. That's part one. As it comes to setting our intentions, what do we do there? What do we say there? I, self, in the mirror, self. I hope I, what? I hope I am, what? When you have something down, you write it down, you think of it, it makes sense. I want you to throw it in the comment box. I'm going to ask for a little bit of courage, a little bit of vulnerability today. Imagine that. But I want you to put it in the comment box. I want to see it. That's the beauty of us kind of switching our platform and what we're doing, and us switching to an exclusively Instagram only, is I get to really engage with you here. We can talk, we can chat. For those that get brave later on, and you want to come on and we want to go live together, we can do that as well. But I want you to write that down. It's the first part of us building our intentions, our ability to go, man, when I look at myself and I see myself, I have the ability to say, Rocky, I hope that you are what? The second part of that we're going to build is that we're talking about desire. Desire is and hope is the thing that the desire is the part that is internal, right? Then I want you to answer this question for yourself. Rocky's greatest desire is what? Annie's greatest desire is what? Anne's greatest desire is what? Megan's greatest desire is what? Then I want you to put those two things together. Okay, so we have our hope, we have our desire. I want you to do those things separately. Once you have those down, then I want you to share them with me. And if you're watching and you're like, hey, I have mine too, but I want to figure out, I'd love to chat with you and figure out how do we put that together? How do we make that, fashion that in a way that allows us to create an intention? Then click the button. There's a little button down there. I think there's a button that has two faces. I think that's the button that says you're going to request that you want to chat together. So feel free. We can do that as well if you want. If anybody's feeling brave today. So again, the two exercises are this. Number one, Rocky, I hope that I am. And Rocky, one of my greatest desires is to answer both of those questions. Then once you have those answered, then we're going to use both of those to begin to build what our intention is moving forward. So I'm going to give you 15, 20 seconds or so. Work that out. Write those things down for me. Ira, I hope I'm saying your name right. We're glad that you're here. Preeti, is that your name? Glad you're here too. Okay, so we have our hope, we have our desire. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put those together, and by putting them together, that's going to allow us to begin to build what our intention is. Again, last week, rhythms and routines, big buckets, cadence, movement, consistency. Now, what do we fill up our rhythms and routines with? I believe the next step is we have to fill them with our intentions and with our direction. That allows us to use that in a way that allows us to create forward momentum and head in the direction that we want to go. Okay? So we have our hope, we have our desire. Now what I want you to do is you should have two statements. You have two statements of belief, okay? You have a statement about what I hope. We have a statement about what I desire. And now I want you to look at those two things and ask, how can you combine those to create an intention? Whether it's a word or a phrase, how do you combine those two thoughts together in order to create your intention? I want you to do that, and when you're ready, I want you to put it in the comment box. I want you to share it. I want you to share what is your intention based on your ability to see both hope and desire together. Because we can pick something out of thin air. Be brave, be courageous, do this, whatever it is intentions we come up with, like to come up with in January. January is usually the month of setting good intentions for the year, right? What I want us to do is I want us to do it now because I think it's important, because the first half of the year was kind of something none of us expected. So what do we do with that now, and how do we begin to create that for ourselves? So when you feel like you've got an intention, a word or a phrase, again, I want you to throw it there in the chat box, throw it there in the comment box, so that I'm also used to talking in Zoom. On Instagram, it's probably not called a comment box. It's probably just said put it in the comments. So that's what I meant to say. Put it in the comments. Whatever your intention is, I want you to write it there, because that intention is what's going to give us and allow us the fuel and the catalyst we need to set our direction so that we know where we're going, because our direction is, when it all comes together, that should lend it to us heading in a specific direction. We're not talking about a pinpoint location. We're talking about a specific direction. It's much different. So you can wave, thumbs up, or heart me when you're like, hey, I got my intention. I'm ready to move on. And again, as we talk about our rhythm and routine, and we begin to put those two things together, right? We establish the pace and the big bucket. We got to know what to put in that bucket so we can use that time in a way that's useful and beneficial to us. Okay? Thank you, Tammy. There it is. I love that. So your intent, here's what I want you to do. So last week, Tammy, we talked about rhythm and routine, right? And even you specifically talked about rhythm and routine. Yes, be specific, okay? So Tammy, your example says, I hope that I am intentional. So we're going to pretend that intention and intentional, they overlap there, but no pun intended, right? So the hope is, right? Her hope is, she's like, I really hope that I am intentional. So that gives a level that gives a level of meaning, that gives a level of purpose, that gives a way in which we should have the ability to be able to say, we're going to be thoughtful and methodical with our time. We're not just going to randomly, throw it up in the air. Megan, sorry, I just saw this. It said, will you give an example of all three? Sure. So like if I were going to answer myself, I would say, honestly, I'm going to kind of pick on Tammy's, because I think that's kind of where I'm at too. I hope, one of my hopes is, external is I hope I'm intentional. When I'm out there, I hope I am intentional. And then internal, my desire, I have a desire to be vulnerable. Okay, so my intention, my hope is that I am intentional, and my desire is to be vulnerable. And so I would say, if I was going to set an intention, right? If I was going to set an intention for myself, is that I want to be thoughtful, purposeful, and intentional with others. And I'm only going to do that when I have the ability to be vulnerable with myself. Okay? And so I want to be intentional, and vulnerable. Like you can pull those two words out if you want, if that makes it easier. Just say, I want to be this and this. I desire this and this. I hope for this and desire this. Slam together, you have two words. But what that does is it allows us to have, right? Just like we talk about having core values, in a sense, it's kind of similar. It gives us the ability to go, do I have a foundation and a filter for the decisions that I'm making? With a job, with kids, as a parent, as a spouse, as a partner, in business, wherever it is, right? We have to know what are those things, right? Even in, I hope I am disciplined. There we go. Let's go, Ashley. Even in some other things that we've talked about before, I know with a couple of you on here, thinking about with your business or your small business, your career or your job, right? By having those intentions, it allows us to have a filter for ourselves to be able to know, how do I want to spend and expend my time with people? If I'm going to give energy there, what does that look like and how do I do that? And I know for a lot of us, I shouldn't say that. I know for some of us, this will be a little bit more of a difficult exercise because most of us don't pause and stop long enough to give ourselves the ability to go, do I know what I hope for? And do I know what my desires are? And do I even talk about that openly enough that I use that as a litmus test for what I'm doing and how I want to do it? And I would say for most of us, the answer is no. At times, for myself included, no. And I do this literally all day long with people. All I do is talk about who you are, what that means, why that matters, and try to push into that. And even still, do I give myself an adequate amount of time to really go, what do I hope and what do I desire? Probably not, right? And so I think when we do that here, what's up, Chris? So I think when we do that, it's going to be a little bit difficult. It's going to take a little bit of effort. It's going to be something we're not necessarily, that we just comes right out of our mouth. But again, part of that is because a lot of times we just don't take the time. And so I want us to be able to say, hope, what do we hope? Desire, what desire do we have? And we have our hope and we have our desire. We put those together, right? It gives us the ability to begin to set intentions for ourselves. So let's see here. And he says, hope. She hopes that she is happy, seen, and heard. Her desire is to feel love, to love others, and have fun. Great. And so again, we can take those things. We'll use that as an example. Thank you for sharing those. Right? We put those things together, and then what we have the ability to do is go, okay, so what is your intention? So if I were her and I was going to help her craft what her intention was going to be to help her figure out the direction, her intention is going to be that she wants to know that she is a unique individual and she wants to be affirmed for that thing. And our ability to put those two things together says it's going to require that she puts in energy to know herself. And it's going to be, and when and only when that happens, by her ability to know herself is what gives her the ability to care for other people. So to be seen and happy and heard, you have to be confident and clear about who you are. And to have a desire to feel loved and to love others and to enjoy life and to have fun means there has to be a level of confidence in who you are so that can be used and seen and we can give to others and it can be reciprocated back to us. And so I would even boil that down even further if we just pick on Annie for a second. I would say really her intention is to put in the work. That should be your intention. If this is what you hope for and this is what you desire, then your intention should be every day put in the work. And so what direction would that lead you in? Whatever direction the work is, whatever direction the desire is, whatever direction the hope is. You want to be seen, happy, and heard? Put in the work in that way. You have a desire to feel loved, to love others, and have fun? Put in the work and go that way. Does that make sense? See how we were able to take those two things and we can either take out just this word and put this and this, or we can take that, we can wrap it all up, package it up, and then from that go, I would hear that and go, okay, I hear you saying your intention for the next 6 months is put in the work. And that's not to discredit any work you've ever done before. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Put in the work. Want to be happy, seen, and heard? Put in the work. Have a desire to feel loved? Put in the work. Right? Okay, so here it says, I hope that I am decided and I desire. Decided or dedicated? Rewrite. Let me know which one of those is. They're both correct. I want to communicate correctly when I say it back to you. And the desire to make a difference. I love that. You're welcome, Annie. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll give you a second to respond back on the word there for the hope, and then we'll chat about it. And feel free, I know there's a button, I'm pretty sure there on the bottom of your screen, I think there's a question mark button too. So if you have thoughts or questions, you can feel free and click that as well. Throw those questions in there, and we can chat about those and answer those as well. Decided, firm, to know. Got it. Love it. So you hope that you are decided. You hope that you are firm. You hope that you have the ability to say, I hope that I am, I'm gonna use a word too. I'm 100% putting words in your mouth. Convicted, right? I hope that I am convicted. I hope I'm decided. I hope that I'm firm, and then a desire to make a difference. Now here's what I'll tell you. I think that's a great trajectory, because the only way we really make a difference is when we hold fast what we know to be true. We use that, and we use that as the basis and the fuel for where we want to go moving forward, right? And so a desire there to say that I am, a hope to say that I am firm in what I believe, and a desire to make a difference. That's step 1, step 2, and then bam, step 3. What direction you want to go? You want to go in the direction of places that you have to be able to ask yourself first, do I believe in this? If the answer is yes, then the answer is yes. And the second part of that is, once I believe in this, then you got to go, and is there a space for me to take my belief and make a difference there? And if the answer is yes, then that is a direction that you can head almost 100% of the time. Yes, go in that direction. So that's your litmus test. My intention is I want to be convicted, and I want to move. I want to know there's deep conviction, and I want to move forward in that space. And so we know what the direction is. We have a litmus test for spin me around 10 times and say go. I'm going to pause first if I'm you, and I'm going to go, do I believe in it? And do I have a chance to be me and take those beliefs and make a difference there? And if the answer is yes, then bam, I'm going. You with me? All right, Tammy says, I have a hope to be intentional and a desire to be disciplined. So, let's see. I'm going to click yes. I think that you want to go live, so we're going to try it. If you can click no, and we don't have to do it. We're going to try it. If you click no, it'll tell me, and then you don't have to go live with me, but I'm just going to try it if you want to. What's up, Warren? Let's see. It says it's connecting, so we're going to give it a try. Sometimes it's a little finicky on Instagram. As we're going and waiting, I'm hoping that while this is connecting, it hasn't cut me off. You can still see me? We good? Quickly, Ashley says that you hope that you're disciplined and a desire to be authentic. What's up, Toasted? Love you guys. I have a hope to be disciplined and desire to be authentic and healthy, right? Okay, so for you in particular, not necessarily meaning you, the person, because we know each other. I mean, for you, meaning the way you have this written. If you have a desire to be authentic and healthy, you and I both know that in order for that to happen, it's going to require discipline, right? And so not that it just has to go hope then equals discipline and this, they can go the other direction too. We can take our desire and go, oh, internally, I really want to be authentic and healthy. And so what's the external hope? Discipline. And discipline is going to be required in order for us to get to that place. And so I want you to see that it's fluid. A lot of times we like to see 3 easy steps for, try these 3 things, every millionaire, whatever. All that untrue. Okay. Those are all just general maps that everybody could say, there are roads here, you could walk on them. To me, that's what 5 easy steps feels like. What I'm saying for us is know that most things are fluid. Most things are not this or this. They're consistently moving. And so a part of that movement is to go, I have a desire to be authentic, which you are. I know you are, and healthy. And in order to be healthy, there are things that you want to put in place to be disciplined to move you in that direction. Great. Wonderful. Love that. And so then your intention is going to be that you're going to be thoughtful with every action, knowing that that action is going to lead to something that you hope that you're able to accomplish. Right? What's up, Lauren? Hey, Jenny. Does that make sense? Authentic, you are. Okay? Healthy, beautiful. Disciplined, great. So then ask yourself, what is the method? What is the methodology? What is the intention behind what I'm about to do? And how's that going to lead to make sure that we're there? I love that. Thank you for sharing. So we're at the 27-minute mark. We're doing our best to keep these under 30 minutes unless we're just on fire. So if you have more thoughts, I'm not trying to cut you off. Please feel free and throw them in there. I'd love to chat with you and answer them. But here was our hope. So we have our intention, right? We've done that. So how do we take that and leverage that? Well, we said that we're going to use our intention, which will lead to direction, okay? And direction is when all that comes together, it should lend us to a place. And the reason I'm using the word direction, at least in part 2, and not goal or not specific pinpointed place, is because I think sometimes we can get really distracted by the pinpointed place because we're like, I see that little tiny thing over there. And then what happens is if we get within 1 inch of it, we go, oh, we failed because I thought that was the thing. When many of us, if we would set an intention and give ourselves a direction to move, if we would simply move in that direction, most of the time, wherever we end up is actually where we were supposed to be to begin with. It wasn't the thing we thought about 6 months prior, when we had no idea the context of where we could actually go. I need to work on myself. I need help. Great. Just do that. Put in the work, and where you end up, as long as you have the right intention, you're heading in the right direction, most likely you will have the ability to wake up and find yourself in the position you actually wanted to be in that you didn't even know existed, because you gave yourself the opportunity to consistently remind yourself of what do I hope and what do I desire, and how do I use that as my fuel and my guide to move in the direction I desire. So today is not about goals, okay? Today is about talking about consistent direction where we are headed, not one singular place we want to be. And I believe for us to identify where we want to go and what that is, it's going to require for us to say, first, what are my intentions? What is my hope and my desire in myself? So I can use that as a fuel and a catalyst to move myself, propel myself based on the filter I've created for my intention to say, if I know I want to be disciplined and I know that I want to have routine, and I know I want to be intentional, and I want to create meaning in what I'm going to do, then I have to ask myself those questions every time I take a step, every time I go someplace. What is the thought? What is the process? What is the meaning? Why does this matter? Why is it important to me? And as long as I can check those things off, then head in that direction. What happens is we begin to take our rhythm, which is the cadence in which we operate best. We take our routines, which are the chunks of time that we know we are the most effective and efficient. And then when we're able to take those things and we have our rhythms and our routines, you take a rhythm and routine, and in the middle of that, you place your intention, and that intention leads you to a direction. And all of a sudden you wake up and you go, today I woke up and I did everything I knew and I thought I wanted to do. Why? Because it mattered and it fit in your rhythm and routine when you were most effective, because you had a filter and a foundation you were running things through, i.e. intentions, so that you are consistently moving in the right direction. I hope that helps you, friends. I hope it makes sense. Hope you're able to kind of take, if you missed last week, I would love for you to go back and watch Rhythms and Routines. I think it'll give some good context to where we ended up today. I hope that today you find some clarity on yourself, on your intentions, on what that means, and how we leverage those in order to move us into a direction that we believe in. I'm so grateful for your time. I'm so thankful that you're here. If you're here and you watched it, give us about 2.5 or 3 minutes. We're going to throw this up on IGTV. We would love for you to like it there, share it there if you choose. Share it with a friend, share it in your stories. We would love that. Again, our hope and our intention is to provide value and care for as many people as we possibly can in the context of what we know our field is. And that's not everything. Our field is just ideally the ability to provide clarity in who you are, confidence to believe it's good, and the courage to live it out every day. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, friends. Stay safe, wear a mask, hug somebody you love, have a great Friday, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you guys so much.